the Middle East, a land of ancient history, vibrant cultures, and enduring conflict. At the heart of this volatile mix lie three key players: Iran, Israel, and Hezbollah. Iran seeks to expand its influence through proxies and asymmetric warfare. Israel, often seen as an aggressive, genocidal colonial power, manipulates the media narrative with its Hezbollah propaganda and donations to US politicians to gain support. Hezbollah, armed and funded by Iran, is viewed by many oppressed people as a resistance and liberation movement. To understand the current tensions, one must delve into history. The roots of the conflict stretch back to the mid-20th century and the birth of Israel in 1948. The Islamic Revolution in 1979 pushed Iran towards a more confrontational stance against Israel. In the aftermath of Israel's invasion of Lebanon in 1982, Hezbollah emerged as a powerful force. Hezbollah positioned itself as a resistance movement against Israeli occupation. Fast forward to August 2024. The Middle East is once again a tinderbox. Military exercises have become more frequent and brazen. Missile tests have sent shockwaves through the region. Hardliners on all sides have engaged in a war of words, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. The year 1948 marked a turning point with the creation of the State of Israel. For the Jewish people, it was a return to their ancient homeland. For many Arabs, it was experienced as a catastrophe, the Nakba. The newly established Israel found itself surrounded by hostile neighbors. Each conflict deepened the animosity between Israel and its Arab neighbors. The Palestinian issue became a focal point of regional tension. The Iranian Revolution, a seismic shift. The year 1979 witnessed a seismic shift with the Iranian Revolution. Khomeini's anti-Western and anti-Israel ideology transformed Iran's foreign policy. The revolution emboldened Islamic movements across the Middle East. For Israel, the Iranian Revolution represented a major strategic setback. Israel now faced a more hostile and unpredictable Middle East. Hezbollah, from resistance to proxy. In the aftermath of Israel's 1982 invasion of Lebanon, Hezbollah emerged. Formed with the support of Iran, Hezbollah positioned itself as a resistance movement. Over time, Hezbollah evolved into a well-trained and well-equipped fighting force. Iran's support has enabled Hezbollah to build a formidable arsenal. Hezbollah's growing strength and influence have been a source of concern for Israel and the United States. A tangled web of alliances and enmities. The relationship between Iran, Israel, and Hezbollah operates within a complex regional landscape. The United States has been a key player in shaping the regional balance of power. Russia has emerged as a key backer of both Iran and the Syrian regime. Moscow's intervention in the Syrian civil war has bolstered the Iranian-led axis. Russia's growing influence has created new challenges for Israel and the United States. Adding complexity is the issue of Iran's nuclear program. The 2015 nuclear deal placed strict limits on Iran's nuclear program. The Trump administration's withdrawal from the JCPOA reignited the nuclear crisis. Iran has since exceeded the limits on its nuclear activities. Israel has warned it will not tolerate a nuclear-armed Iran. The possibility of a military strike against Iran's nuclear facilities remains a constant threat. The summer of 2024 has been marked by heightened tensions. Iran conducted large-scale naval drills in the Strait of Hormuz. Israel responded with its own display of military might. These exercises were intended to test Israel's readiness for a potential two-front war. A recent interview with Trita Parsi has sent shockwaves through the international community. Parsi warned that the current situation is far more dangerous than many realize. He pointed to Iran's growing confidence and Israel's sense of vulnerability. Parsi's most chilling warning was the risk of miscalculation. Even a small incident could spiral out of control and lead to a wider conflict. Shifting sands, the evolving balance of power. The old order of US hegemony is crumbling. Iran has emerged from isolation with renewed confidence. The 2015 nuclear deal paved the way for the lifting of sanctions. Israel faces a more challenging security environment. Israel's leaders are increasingly concerned about the window of opportunity for taking military action against Iran. The view from Tehran: regional aspirations and perceived threats. To comprehend Iran's strategic calculus, one must step inside the halls of power in Tehran. Iran, an ancient land with a rich history, views itself as a natural leader in the Middle East. Its leaders believe that Iran has a rightful place at the helm of the region. From Tehran's perspective, the Middle East is a region under siege. The United States is seen as a hostile force determined to undermine Iran's interests. Israel is perceived as an existential threat, one that cannot be ignored. Iran's support for Hezbollah is a key element of its regional strategy. Hezbollah, a sword and a shield. Hezbollah, the party of God, is pivotal in Iran's regional strategy. For Tehran, Hezbollah is both a sword and a shield against Israel. Decades of conflict and Iranian support have made Hezbollah formidable. With over 100,000 rockets, Hezbollah threatens Israeli cities. These weapons can cripple infrastructure and inflict heavy casualties. Battle-hardened fighters and knowledge of terrain make Hezbollah a force. Iran's support extends beyond weapons to strategic guidance. Hezbollah's actions align with Iran's strategic interests. However, Hezbollah balances loyalty to Tehran with domestic concerns. Walking the tightrope. Calculating the costs and benefits of escalation. Iran's leaders are engaged in a delicate balancing act, weighing the costs and benefits of escalation against Israel. Tehran is under immense pressure to respond to Israeli aggression. Israeli airstrikes and the assassination of Iranian nuclear scientists fuel outrage. Hardliners argue that failing to respond will embolden Israel. They believe Iran must demonstrate its resolve, even at the risk of wider conflict. However, a major conflict could cripple Iran's economy and threaten its survival. The doctrine of preemption, striking first, striking hard. Israel's military doctrine is rooted in its history and geopolitical reality. Surrounded by hostile neighbors, Israel prioritizes preemption and deterrence. Known as the Begin Doctrine, it shapes Israel's military strategy. Israel believes it cannot wait for enemies to strike first. Its small size and vulnerability necessitate decisive action. This approach leads to preemptive airstrikes and operations. The Iron Wall, a multi-layered defense strategy. While Israel's military doctrine emphasizes preemption, it also recognizes the need for a robust defense system to protect its citizens from attack. To this end, Israel has invested heavily in developing a multi-layered defense system, often referred to as the Iron Wall, designed to intercept and neutralize a wide range of threats, from rockets and mortars to ballistic missiles and drones. One of the most well-known components of Israel's Iron Wall is the Iron Dome system, a mobile air defense system designed to intercept and destroy short-range rockets and artillery shells fired from Gaza and Lebanon. The Iron Dome has proven highly effective in intercepting incoming projectiles, significantly reducing casualties and damage from rocket attacks. In addition to the Iron Dome, Israel has also developed the David Sling system, designed to intercept medium-range ballistic missiles and cruise missiles, and the Arrow system, designed to intercept long-range ballistic missiles outside the Earth's atmosphere. These systems, along with sophisticated radar systems and early warning networks, provide Israel with a comprehensive defense umbrella, capable of countering a wide range of aerial threats. Israel's defense strategy also includes extensive border fortifications, intelligence gathering operations, and civil defense measures designed to protect its population from attack. Israel's Home Front Command plays a crucial role in preparing citizens for emergencies and coordinating responses to attacks. The political calculus, public opinion, and the shadow of elections. Israel's military and security policies are not formulated in a vacuum. The Israeli government must balance its security concerns with domestic political considerations, including public opinion, the views of its allies, and the potential impact of its actions on the peace process. Public opinion in Israel is often deeply divided on matters of war and peace. While there is a broad consensus on the need to defend Israel from its enemies, there are often sharp disagreements about the best means to achieve this goal. Some Israelis favor a more hawkish approach, advocating for preemptive strikes and a tough stance against adversaries. Others prefer a more dovish approach, emphasizing diplomacy, dialogue, and the pursuit of a peaceful resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Israeli government must also consider the views of its allies, particularly the United States, when formulating its security policies. While the United States has consistently supported Israel's right to defend itself, it has also urged restraint and cautioned against actions that could destabilize the region or undermine the prospects for peace. Furthermore, the timing of Israel's military actions is often influenced by domestic political considerations. Elections in Israel can have a significant impact on security policy, with governments sometimes adopting more hawkish postures in the run-up to elections in an attempt to bolster their security credentials and appeal to voters. Loyalty to Tehran and Lebanese politics. Hezbollah walks a tightrope in Middle Eastern geopolitics. Founded with Iranian support, Hezbollah evolved into a powerful force. It is a staunch ally of Iran, integrated into Tehran's strategy. Yet it is also a Lebanese political actor, answerable to its constituents. Hezbollah's loyalty to Tehran is unwavering. Iran provides financial resources, military training, and advanced weaponry. This alliance stems from shared ideology and a common enemy in Israel. Hezbollah's actions align with Iranian interests, serving as a proxy force. However, Hezbollah cannot be seen as merely a puppet of Tehran. It operates within Lebanon, a country with a delicate sectarian balance. Hezbollah's political wing holds significant sway in Lebanon's government. This domestic role necessitates pragmatism and consideration for Lebanese interests. Hezbollah's leadership must balance its commitment to Iran with its role in Lebanon. This balancing act requires a nuanced understanding of both regional and domestic arenas. The calculus of resistance, weighing the costs and benefits of conflict. Hezbollah's strategic calculus revolves around resistance, central to its ideology and self-perception. From its inception, Hezbollah has framed its existence as a struggle against Israeli aggression. This narrative resonates deeply with its Shia base, providing legitimacy for its actions. Hezbollah's leadership is pragmatic, aware of the costs and benefits of conflict. It recognizes the risks of escalation and the potential devastation for Lebanon. The specter of civilian casualties, a restraining factor. A significant factor influencing Hezbollah's calculations is the potential for civilian casualties. Hezbollah operates within a densely populated region, where any conflict with Israel would inevitably result in civilian deaths. This reality presents both a moral dilemma and a strategic constraint for the group. Hezbollah is acutely aware that high civilian casualties, particularly within Lebanon's Shia community, would erode its domestic support base. Images of Lebanese civilians, especially children, killed or injured in Israeli airstrikes, would inflame public opinion and potentially turn the tide against the group. Hezbollah's political legitimacy, built in part on its claim to protect Lebanon from Israel, would be severely undermined. Moreover, Hezbollah recognizes that high civilian casualties would draw international condemnation and pressure to end hostilities. It would strengthen Israel's narrative of self-defense and weaken Hezbollah's claim of legitimate resistance. This could lead to increased international support for Israel, potentially isolating Hezbollah and hindering its ability to operate freely. The specter of civilian casualties weighs heavily on Hezbollah's decision-making. While the group's rhetoric may be fiery and its commitment to confronting Israel unwavering, its actions are tempered by the understanding that a heavy human toll would come at a steep political and strategic price. The United States casts a long shadow over the Middle East, providing unwavering diplomatic support and billions in military aid to Israel. Washington also cultivates alliances with Arab states, combating terrorism and securing energy resources. This multifaceted strategy involves containing regional rivals like Iran. The US has imposed sanctions on Iran and threatened military action to prevent nuclear weapons. This hardline stance complicates efforts for a peaceful resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Russia, once a marginal player in the Middle East, has made a dramatic comeback, challenging US dominance. This resurgence is driven by Russia's desire to restore its global standing and economic interests in the region's energy resources. Russia's most significant intervention has been its military involvement in the Syrian civil war. Russia's air power has been instrumental in propping up Bashar al-Assad's regime. This intervention has bolstered Russia's influence in Syria and the wider region, giving it a strategic foothold in the eastern Mediterranean. Moscow's support for Iran and Assad has put it at odds with Israel and the United States. Their interests in Syria and the wider region often clash. Russia's re-emergence has introduced a new layer of complexity to the region's dynamics. A region adrift the waning influence of external actors. The US and Russia's influence in the Middle East is waning. Regional actors are increasingly asserting themselves. The US is withdrawing, pivoting to the Asia-Pacific. This creates a vacuum that regional actors are eager to fill. Iran is expanding its influence. Russia's comeback in Syria is limited by its stretched military. The waning influence of external actors has created a volatile environment. The crossroads of conflict, a region on a razor's edge. As we've journeyed through the labyrinthine complexities of the Middle East, one stark reality emerges. This is a region perpetually poised on the precipice of conflict. The intricate interplay of historical grievances, ideological clashes, and geopolitical ambitions has created a volatile mix where even a minor spark could ignite a conflagration with global ramifications. Iran, Israel, and Hezbollah, each driven by their own calculations of survival and dominance, are locked in a dangerous dance, their every move scrutinized, their every declaration analyzed for signs of impending war. The shadow of history looms large. Decades of conflict, from the wars that followed Israel's birth to the rise of Hezbollah and Iran's Islamic Revolution, have left a legacy of mistrust, resentment, and a deep well of pain on all sides. Each actor carries the weight of past traumas, fueling a cycle of violence that seems to defy any lasting resolution. The present moment, however, feels particularly fraught. The recent escalation of military exercises, the fiery rhetoric exchanged between leaders, and the ominous warnings from analysts like Trita Parsi all point to a region teetering on the brink. The balance of power, once maintained by a combination of US hegemony and a wary equilibrium between regional rivals, is shifting beneath our feet. The weight of history, the urgency of the present. Iran, emboldened by its expanding influence and fueled by a deep-seated belief in its regional destiny, is determined to challenge what it sees as an unjust order imposed by the West and its allies. Hezbollah, armed to the teeth and ideologically aligned with Tehran, serves as both a proxy force and a deterrent, a constant thorn in Israel's side and a reminder of the potential for devastating retaliation. Israel, haunted by its own history of existential threats and determined to never again be a victim, clings to its doctrine of preemption, viewing any sign of Iranian ambition or Hezbollah's growing arsenal as an intolerable danger that must be met with overwhelming force. This conviction, however, is a double-edged sword, for the very act of preemption risks triggering the wider conflict it seeks to avoid. The international community, once a relatively reliable arbiter of disputes and a source of restraint, seems increasingly unable or unwilling to play a constructive role. The United States, distracted by internal divisions and a global shift in strategic priorities, appears less engaged, its influence waning. Russia, eager to reassert itself as a major power, plays a cynical game, supporting its allies while seeking to exploit the chaos to its advantage. The unanswerable question, averting the next conflagration. The question that keeps world leaders awake at night and ordinary citizens holding their breath is simple. Who will strike first? Will it be Iran, Israel, or Hezbollah, miscalculating and setting off catastrophic events? There are no easy answers, no guaranteed solutions. The path to peace seems more distant than ever. But amidst the storm clouds, there remains a flicker of hope. The cost of conflict is too high to bear. Perhaps the weight of history can deter future bloodshed. Recognizing shared humanity can transcend divides. The world watches, praying for peace, hoping reason will prevail.